I'm gonna be talking about something very specific that I get asked every single day. Paddle turf, the carpet. And we are all things paddle. Okay, the world famous carpet. And this is especially important for club owners and aspiring club owners. Uh, if you own a club or if you want to own a club, what we're gonna be able to sell, there are emotions and experiences. And what I mean by that is this: that when I come to the club, when I play paddle, one of the most important factors is to play in a good paddle court. Now, what I mean by that is it has to be clean, and most importantly, the turf has to be good, okay? And you can't imagine how many clubs I've seen that the court, the turf on the court is falling apart, and it needs to be taken care of. So I'm gonna give you a quick informative review what is needed and what is not, and the different type of turfs. So as you know, there are two types of turf, right? We have the monofilament and the texturized turf. What is the difference? The monofilament is only just the hair that it just goes up. Most of the clubs, they use that one, right? It's the less expensive. It's less expensive than the texturized. The texturized, it's a little bit better quality, and is the curly. If you see the hair very close by, very close in, it's a curly hair, right? And what it does to the ball and to the court, it gives it a much more clean look than the monofilament. So texturized is just a little bit better, and you won't be able to see the sun on the court, right? So the texturized, for you to understand, most of the World Padel Tour, Premier Padel Tour, I know all the major tournaments they play with texturized turf. Why? Because you don't see any sand, so the sun stays below the curly hair, and it gives the court a much more clean look. So if you're looking to put an indoor club or an outdoor club, or indoor courts or outdoor courts, my recommendation is, if you're going indoors, definitely you need to have texturized turf. Why? Because it will give a much more clean look. If you're playing outdoors, you can do both, and the difference will be very important, right? You don't want to see sand all over the place and all that. So now that when we talk about sand, the texturized court, it takes about 2,300 pounds of sand that you have to put on it, where the monofilament court takes much more sand than a texturized court. The monofilament court, it takes about 13,000 pounds of sand that you have to put on it. And why is so important the sun? People will ask me. The importance of the sun, it's crucial. What it does, the sun, is this: it keeps the carpet or the turf in place, right? Mistakes that you will do in many clubs that you will see, that the corners of the courts, they will start shrink because of the weather. If you're in a warm place, if you're in a cold place, the normal tendency of the carpet or the turf is to start shrink. So the sun, what it does is it just keeps the court and the turf in place. Very, very important. The other thing that the sun does is protects the actual monofilament or the curly monofilament on the court, right, from weather damage, especially if you're outdoors on a hot place like here in Miami, or if you go to the Northeast with the cold and all that. The sun is very, very important components of the court, right? Here's the difference. The texturized hair, it's about 10 millimeters. So it's a little bit smaller than the monofilament, which is about 12 millimeters. So it's very important for you to take that in consideration. Always, my suggestions: go with texturized. Okay, it will give your club a much more clean look. Okay. Now the importance. Okay, how much sand do I have to always keep putting on the court? Sand will wash away with rain, usage, wind, and all the external factors, like especially if you're outdoors, all the external factors that they will wash the sand away. So how often do you have to put sun on it? I would recommend in between 4 to 6 months, depending of the rain, wind, and usage. If you have a lot of traffic on the courts, I would recommend for every 4 months you add a few bags of sand around the court, and you got to make sure that you spread it out properly with the proper tools. That it's called a spreader. So that will help you to spread sand all around the court. Mistake that everybody does is you put it out with a shovel, and then you will have like spots of sand. So it's very important to always be, especially when you put sand for the first week and a half, you have to be spreading sand all over the court, okay? Because if not, you will get these clumps of sand in one place, and when that ball bounces there, that ball will die right there. So it's very, very important for you to make sure that you spread that sand for the first week or 2 weeks all around the court, okay? So those are the key issues for you to maintain your court. Remember, it's not just a one time you put sand and then you forget about it. You have to be always putting sand, especially if you're outdoors, if you have wind, if you have indoors, you can hold on a little bit longer. But sand tends to get on your shoes, so slowly that sand, moves away. So you have to be always replenishing. Sand is a very, very important factor of maintaining a good turf on your court. You have to make sure that when you put sand and it gets wet, you have to make sure that you keep spraying out, because the sand also helps you, if you're outdoors, to absorb the water. So the courts will dry much faster as well, okay? And the mistakes, like I said before, they start shrinking on the corners. The sand helps us to protect if you're outdoors with sand. One of the mistakes that happens in many clubs when you're outdoors, especially in the summertime, the glass works as a magnifying glass, right? And they will burn the edges of the carpet or the turf on the sides, and especially in the corners. If you go on the corners, you will see that it's actually burned. And if it gets really, really hot, let's say you're in Las Vegas, you're in South Florida, you're in Arizona, you're in places that gets very, very hot and the sun is very strong, that cord, if you don't put enough sun, it will burn and it will shrink and it will come up. Very, very important. The other mistake that you guys, for you to be aware of it, if you don't put enough sun, the lines will come up. So you have to maintain the sun on top of the lines as well and spread out so the line stays put. Because when they build a court, actually it's not just a full carpet with the lines marked. They actually come and cut a line and then they put a line on top of it. So that line is actually glue in between the two pieces of carpet. So the sun will help you to keep it put. There's nothing worse that line starts shrinking because you haven't put enough sun, and you get a bounce there and the ball bounces everywhere. I'm sure you had experienced that. The other most important thing is you have to be aware that it's the maintenance overall of the court has to be good. The net has to be in good shape all the time. You don't want to have holes on the net. The screen has to be not rusted. So that's why always very important to have double galvanized steel on the screens before you purchase a court. You have to make sure that the manufacturer is giving you double galvanized steel, especially if you're close to the ocean or salty environment, that the screen will get really rusted, okay? And you don't want to have that experience. Glasses, they have to be cleaned constantly, especially after it rains, it gets all dirty and all that. So you have to get a squeegee and try to clean it. So remember, sand, when I talk about sand is not actually like regular beach sand. It's a specialty sand. It's called silica. It's a special kind of sand that the grain is a little bit bigger. It's more uniform than beach sand. So you have to make sure that you always have extra bags on your club for you to be putting sand out. If you're a new club owner, as soon as they make the first delivery, make sure that they give you extra bags of sand for you to be able to reuse 4-6 months down the road, for you to spread out the courts. So that will be pretty much what is needed for you to maintain a good turf on your club or your upcoming club. I hope this is informative to you guys, and let's keep growing paddle, and let's take your paddle club and your paddle level to the next level. Thank you so much.
Guys, if you haven't already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications.
And remember, it's free 99. It doesn't cost you anything to hit that subscribe button.
Thanks for tuning in to Padel Smash Academy. We hope you'll find our videos informative, helpful in improving your game and learning all things paddle.
So until next time, keep improving your game. And remember, learn, play, and share.